Good morning. I hope that this lawlessness and the untamed hearts of these uncontrolled rioters are not in any way posing a threat to any of you or your family, to where that unfortunate circumstance of having to engage in self-defense is required. There's a little bit of it around here, but not too much to where one would need to think of having to defend themselves. But that could change at any time. It's just all in how these people are led. But, with this, we have to diligently search the matters out of these things and come to the conclusion if such things like this are political propaganda or if they're legitimate. And see, many believe what they see, what can be proven with the physical five senses. So what better way to deceitfully convince the masses with mere words and fables on the news, or theatrical events and theatrical antics, the acting out of skits, to rile people up. In Proverbs chapter 14, verses 5 through 9, it says, "A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. A scorner seeketh wisdom, and findeth it not, but knowledge is easy unto him that understandeth. Go from the presence of a foolish man, when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there's favor." So that's about it on that. Let's get into the remainder of chapter 1 of Amos. So this morning, we will complete the first chapter in the book of Amos, verses 13 through 15. "Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of the children of Ammon, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have ripped up the women with child of Gilead, that they might enlarge their border." Now, if you all notice, geographically, these prophecies of Amos, they go roundabout in a sphere, like in a circle. We went over in the earlier verses in chapter 1, Amos prophesying of Syria. Then he geographically went over to Phoenicia, and then down to Philistia, then further south, down there to Edom, and now back around north to Ammon. And much like Edom and Israel, there was a kinship, a camaraderie between Ammon and Israel. The Ammonites were traditionally regarded as descendants of Abraham, Abraham's nephew, Lot. Now, this prophecy regarding Ammon is a particular barbarous act in warfare then. And depending on the agenda behind abortion today and the many ways in which it affects the census and in the way it pokes in the face of an angry God, abortion is an act of war as well. So through this entire first chapter, Amos's prophecy, he's targeted social injustice, economic greed for personal gain, all originating from mixed up religious systems. The Mosaic faith, it had been diluted, watered down, and replaced by symbols and idols. One example here is found in Baal worship. Some people say Baal, I call it Baal worship. As summer months today can be seen in some places of the world, especially to farmers, it could look like a scorched earth until rain come in the beginning of autumn. But in Baal worship, when the earth in the summer became brittle and dry in those summer months, through idol worship, that land could only be revived by summoning deities of fertility. They believed that the interaction, if you will, the interaction of men and women in engagements of prostitution in the name of religion, would bring fertility to the land, to all of life, fields and flocks, husband and wives alike. Life was a shrine. The Mosaic faith was watered down. Sacrifices and offerings, they were abundant. Yet Amos saw right through the going through the motions of churchianity in the name of religion. So when they left their temple worship, there was no spiritual effect. Their conduct was heathen when they left the rituals in the shrine. Kind of like today. Playing church. Put on your Sunday's best. Live hell off the cross for 6 days. And then back putting on a big show on Sunday. Now, what punishment will God not revoke or turn away from regarding Ammon, the Ammonites? Because they ripped up the women with child of Gilead, that they, Ammon, might enlarge their border. Ammon killed pregnant women, point blank. They ripped open the womb and killed mother and child. It makes you think of the abomination of abortion, don't it? You see, the thing that is even worse about the abomination of abortion than the actual performing of it by a doctor is the wicked motivations behind the act of it. Ammon desired to kill, to stop the population of humanity in order to have power in numbers, a large population, to overpopulate and extend their borders. An ambition of selfishness and selflessness. See, the ambition to murder for personal gain, in the case of Ammon, territory, expanding their border. See, ambition always has a cost. There's a reaction to the action. Ambition always has a cost. If you are a good housewife, tending to the home, good ambition towards college courses, good ambitions to do well, all for God's glory in one's job. Any ambition has a cost. And when the cost is too high, when the cost is ungodly, when the cost for that ambition is rebellion against God, then that ambition is unholy and unrighteous, with eventual consequences. So, for instance, if you take a new job, will it take away needed family time? If you do something really extraordinary for your own pleasure and gain, is it running roughshod over another's needs? Women who are ambitious, who not want a baby, they don't want a child to interfere with their looks, or maybe that child will interfere with their career, are easily swayed to get an abortion. And these doctors who are ambitious to earn quick money are easily swayed to perform abortions. Those who want to gain power in society worldwide by manipulating society, by manipulating people, are ambitious. So ask yourself, what is the cost for your ambition? I ask myself, Daniel, what is the cost for your ambition? Well, the price for ambition for Ammon was they forfeited. They surrendered favor with God. And God turned on them in judgment, per the prophecy of Amos, because they were willing to rip open the woman with child in Gilead. Verse 15, but I will kindle a fire in the wall of Rabbah, and it shall devour the palaces thereof. with the shouting in the day of battle, with a tempest in the day of the whirlwind. So Rabbah was a spectacular city, and the capital city of Ammon and the Ammonites. And as history went on, it was later called by the Greeks Philadelphia, named after Ptolemy Philadelphus of Egypt. And today, modern Jordan, it's built upon the ruins of the nations of the Ammonites. In Jeremiah chapter 49, verses 1 through 4, and there are others, but I'm going to use this for time's sake. Jeremiah chapter 49, verses 1 through 4 records the prophecy against Ammon. Concerning the sons of Ammon, thus says the Lord, does Israel have no sons, or has he no heirs? Why then has Malcham taken possession of God, and his people settled in its cities? Therefore the days are coming, says the Lord, that I will cause a trumpet blast of war to be heard against Rabbah and the sons of Ammon, and it will become a desolate heap, and her towns will be set on fire. Then Israel will take possession of his possessors, says the Lord. Just for a little side note here, I reckon with those towns being set on fire, the beautiful women went up with it. In 1 Kings 11:1 it says, King Solomon loved many foreign women. Besides Pharaoh's daughter, he loved and married women from Moab, Ammon, Edom, Sidon, and from among the Hittites. And we'll go over Amos's prophecy concerning Moab as we begin chapter 2 next week. Okay, I lost my place. Verse 15. That was verse 14 I read before. Sorry. Verse 15. And their king shall go into captivity, he and his princes, together, saith the Lord. So the king, the head potentate or ruler of a nation, when he was outed along with his princes, there were no more decision-making or authority left for the people to be guided and led. For selfish ambition, God judged Ammon. And I am sure y'all have or are familiar with Moloch in the Old Testament. He was an Ammonite god. And they back then would sacrifice their firstborn children by burning the child on a statue idol of Moloch. This abomination of abortion today has similar ambition. It's all for personal gain. Babies are being sacrificed today for the idol of monetary gain, for the idol of looks and convenience. It's human depravity. And if unregenerate hearts can be turned to the gospel of Jesus Christ, and if the unregenerate hearts of humanity can tear down the high places and destroy the idols of the flesh, there would be no more of the sacrificing of children. Okay, so this concludes the first chapter of Amos. We will begin chapter 2 of the book of Amos. Till next time.